In the Ben 10 universe, the OMNITRIX is the most powerful weapon ever created. The watch starts out with just 10 aliens, however it amasses over 1 million samples of DNA altogether. But what if we put this weapon in the hands of one of fiction's most powerful creations, Son Goku? This is the story of if Goku found the OMNITRIX. In the vast universe, there are millions of species, which means there are millions of different DNAs to be collected. On planet M2, Dr. Mew uses his resources to create a weapon with a combination of all these various DNAs. He dubs it the OMNITRIX. It's a weapon so powerful that it could be used for what he hopes to be mass destruction. However, this wasn't his only attempt at something so powerful. Mew had also made a parasite by the name of Baby. These two things could not exist in the same place, ever. Hell, not even in the same galaxy. Mew deemed it too dangerous for his own existence, so he would go on to send the OMNITRIX out into space. This would happen around the same time a specific baby would be saved from his planet's destruction and sent to Earth. Kakarot would arrive on Earth, soon to be found by Son Gohan, and given his human name, Son Goku. Things would go normally for some time, with Goku falling down a ravine and hitting his head, as well as him turning into a great ape and killing Gohan. But about 6 months before Bulma showed up searching for the Dragon Balls, what appeared to be a rock was falling from the sky at a rapid pace. While training, Goku saw this and went on to trace the location. This rock would land and dissipate all the water that was present in the lake it crashed down into. Goku would approach it with caution, thinking it was some kind of monster. He pulled out his power pole and tried to strike the pod, which only caused it to beep rapidly before it opened up. A green light flashes in front of Goku as he looked on in awe. He reached forward to see what was inside, but all of a sudden he was struck with a pain he'd never felt before. The OMNITRIX latches onto his arm and digs into his skin. Goku tries to rip it off, but he isn't even able to move it in the slightest. He would soon fidget with the watch in hopes of getting it off, but a green light would emit from the top of it. Goku presses it, and all of a sudden he's surrounded in a fire. He gets worried. This is what he cooks his food in. Is he being burnt? Instinctively, Goku starts to shout, "Ow, ow, ow!" But he soon realizes that he feels no pain. He jumps around and looks in the water, seeing his reflection. Why does he look like a fireman? He soon realizes that the watch is no longer on his wrist, it's on his chest. He thinks it went inside of him, so he continuously punches himself in hopes of getting it out. Eventually, the time limit would run out, and Goku turns back into himself. He's extremely puzzled. What is going on? Much like how Goku did with the 4-star Dragon Ball, this watch becomes almost like a person to him. Having no one near him, he either talks to himself or his grandpa's Dragon Ball. But now when he's talking to himself, he's also talking to the watch, and Goku takes this literally. Sometimes he would press it and it would turn him into various different aliens. Once he turned into a wild mutt, which helped him jump higher and cut wood faster. He realizes soon that these things he turns into kind of help him. While Goku isn't the smartest person, it's fair to assume he would figure out the basics of what the watch does for him, especially considering he has 6 months to work with it. Twist the thing and slap it, simple as that. While Goku's roaming around in his cannonbolt form, he accidentally bumps into a car. It's Bulma's, and she's looking for the Dragon Balls. Initially, Bulma's terrified, seeing a creature she'd never seen before. She screams and calls for help, but then the OMNITRIX starts to beep and Goku turns back into his normal form. After a bit of questioning and answering, the two are off to collect the Dragon Balls. The only change in this part of the story would be Goku uses his aliens to finish tasks faster. He would turn into Ripjaw so he could get Turtle to Roshi's island quicker, which would intrigue Roshi. In return, the Turtle Hermit would offer up the Kinto-Un, but Goku denies it, transforming into Stinkfly and going off. The most interested person, however, is Bulma. She's confused at how this watch works and would absolutely kill to get a chance at studying it, something she'll 100% do the moment an opportunity like that presents itself. They would soon encounter the village, terrorized by Oolong. When he sees the big monster, Goku immediately knows who he wants to turn into. He tries to use forearms, but the OMNITRIX is a switcheroo on him. Instead of getting bigger and bulkier, he would get smaller and scrawnier, turning into Grey Matter. However, this isn't the biggest disadvantage. Grey Matter uses his quick and smart thinking, immediately realizing what Oolong is and how to defeat him. Not only does he do that, he also severely embarrasses the pig. When they're going through the wasteland and Yamcha attempts to steal their stuff, Goku would successfully turn into forearms and easily scare Yamcha away after he throws him through a mountain. They would eventually reach Fire Mountain. However, this time around, they don't need Roshi's assistance. Goku would press the watch and turn into Heat Blast. He then uses his abilities to control and contort the fire away from the mountain and over to a waterfall. This leaves Ox King happy and willing to give his Dragon Balls away. Soon the main challenge would arise in the form of the Pilaf gang. Even with the OMNITRIX, Pilaf is able to knock out the group through the use of the gas. Goku would use Grey Matter once more to try and figure a way out of this hole, which is when he looks up at the full moon. Luckily for him, at least in the physical sense, Grey Matter had the brains to figure out what happened to Gohan, so he would turn back into his normal Saiyan body, which would allow for him to turn into a great ape and escape. The Pilaf gang gets scared off, and Yamcha, with the help of Oolong and Puar, managed to cut off his tail. Given that they were able to do this quickly, Pilaf hadn't summoned Shenron yet, so this would give Bulma the opportunity to make her wish. But she pauses. She doesn't know what to wish for. She kind of already has what she wants in the form of Yamcha, and wishing for strawberries feels like a waste. But then she thinks, what she wants is knowledge. Knowledge about the watch on Goku's wrist. With her mind made up, Bulma looks up and wishes to learn everything about this watch. Her brain is immediately flooded with knowledge and data. She's way overwhelmed but excited at the same time. Goku is about to leave to train with Master Roshi when Bulma stops him. She refuses to let him leave. She knows everything about the watch now. She promises Goku that if he lets her analyze the OMNITRIX, she'll make him stronger than Master Roshi ever could. He looks at her unsure, but decides to just go along with it. Yamcha, on the other hand, has absolutely no problem going to Master Roshi's and training. He was already terrified of Goku, now he's stealing his girl? He won't tolerate that. Yamcha's gonna get stronger and find a way to beat Goku. When he gets there, Roshi requires a specific price, which Yamcha can suffice. He and Krillin would train under Roshi, becoming part of the Turtle Hermit School, while Goku finds his own way to get stronger. As promised, Bulma would find ways for Goku to train, but at the same time, Goku would allow her to do stuff like draw his blood. But through doing that, she discovers something shocking. Turns out that Goku isn't even human. This is a shock not only to her, but also to Goku himself. He had no idea either. She's even more excited now. Turns out that the OMNITRIX isn't the only anomaly she's studying. Soon, Goku would hear about the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai tournament, and being Goku, he wants to participate in it. But his training is a lot less effective than the humans. He heard from Yamcha that they were doing training with weighted gear, and being with Bulma starts to be an advantage for him. She's able to find a much better alternative. With the help of gray matter, Bulma makes a gravity room for Goku to train in. This one can only go up to 10 times, but at first Goku can't even handle more than 2 times. Accounting for his child body, it's likely that he wouldn't be able to reach the full 10 times goal, but over the 7 months he ups the gravity once every 30 days, getting him up to 8 times Earth's gravity, which would boost his power enormously. But while Goku is leagues ahead in power, his technique is extremely lacking. Without Roshi's training, Goku has none of his original martial arts skill, but having his transformations would help him to get stronger, faster, and smarter depending on who he was using. The group would meet at the tournament where they're all ready to butt heads. The opening fight is Krillin versus Bacterian, and even though it's a rocky start for Krillin, he comes through in the end. Jackie Chan would fight Yamcha, and even though Yamcha is far more powerful and has a lot more technique, the person that taught him all of that is his opponent. So Yamcha is taken out. Nam would defeat Ranfam, and Goku fights Girin. He isn't forced to use any of his transformations, but Girin does remind him of Stinkfly. Krillin would then fight Jackie Chan, and even though he puts up a better fight than Yamcha, he inevitably loses. Roshi would realize that he's taught both of his students the lesson he wants to get across, and now wants the prize money. But he looks over at Goku fighting Nam and realizes who he has to beat in order to win that money. A sweat starts to drip down the side of his head. Nam is no longer a challenger for Goku. He tries to use his cross-arm dive technique, but Goku simply moves out of the way and uses a powerful kick to launch him outside the tournament ring. Now let's do some power scaling to see where Goku and Roshi stand. Given that Goku did gravity training, he would certainly be a lot more powerful, but he's not going to be getting that 20 times boost like how he did with his training under King Kai. This is more like a 10 times increase. It's light training and lower gravity, but this still puts Goku's 800 power level far above Roshi's. The Turtle Hermit is ranging anywhere from 160 to 180, but luckily for him, Goku wants to make this slow and utilize his transformations. He wants to have a fun fight. He would turn into Accelerate, moving too fast for the human eye. The audience and Roshi alike would think that Goku had vanished, but all of a sudden Roshi would get hit from every side, forcing him to fall down in pain. He tries to use his Thunder Shock technique to stun Goku, but he would switch into forearms and power through it. Goku would proceed to snap Roshi out of the ring and win the tournament. His next mission is to get the 4-star Dragon Ball back, and Bulma accompanies him on this trip. She wants to use them to ask what species Goku is. She knows all the different species within the watch, and that's a lot of them, but what about Goku himself? She can't simply guess, there's plenty of them that have tails, so she has to wish and find out. On the other hand, Goku doesn't really care, but he's ready for the mission. The Red Ribbon Army would have their conflict with the Pilaf Gang, and Goku and Bulma would run into Chi-Chi, but a change of events would occur in the form of Goku not agreeing to marry her. He would proceed to easily beat Colonel Silver, and the two of them would then run into a village who needs their help. Goku would use Accelerate once again, taking Bulma and speeding through Muscle Tower, easily beating any of the fighters inside before they even knew he was there. The robots are a bit more challenging, but Accelerate's hands are sharp, so Goku uses this to his advantage by cutting off their limbs, making the bots immobilized. General White is ready to take him on as Goku's watch gets timed out. But just because he looks like a little kid and has no transformations doesn't mean he isn't capable of fighting for himself. Goku easily beats White and kicks him through the walls of Muscle Towers and into the frozen peaks. He and Bulma continue on with their journey, but the next Dragon Ball ends up being far underwater. Having knowledge on the OMNITRIX Tower, Bulma turns to him and tells him to turn into a Pisces Volan. Goku gives her a confused look. A Paisa what? Bulma herself is confused. What do you mean? He's one of your aliens. She soon realizes that Goku doesn't actually know any of their actual names, so she apologizes and tells him she meant Ripjaws. With them being able to do this much quicker and without the need of Roshi, General Blue isn't able to get to them. While using Ripjaws, Goku blazes past any robot threats that he might face, using his alien teeth to bite off their limbs with ease. He collects the Dragon Balls and goes back up. He and Bulma then head out to Master Roshi's place where they would encounter General Blue for the first time. Goku's about to press the watch, but he's struck with a dart to the neck, which makes him pass out. By the time they wake up, Blue has the Dragon Balls and is giving his first villain monologue. Coming off the sedative, Goku's body isn't strong enough to rip apart the rope, and his hands are tied so he can't reach the Omnitrix either. That's when Bulma says some code out loud, to which the Omnitrix responds by beeping. She tells Goku to say the name of any alien he wants to turn into. He smiles and says forearm. Bulma's knowledge of the Omnitrix allows him to get out of this situation, with Goku going on to easily pummel Blue, sending him into the water and swimming away. Commander Red hears about this, deciding to pull his last card, hiring the best assassin known to humankind, Tao Pai Pai. Tao would have his first encounter with the two in a weird way. Goku's transformed into Wild Mutt, climbing Karin's tower in hopes of getting the reward at the top while Bulma waits at the bottom. Tao uses the log he's on to propel himself towards Goku, jumping off and firing a Dodan ray to send him off. Goku starts to fall but turns into Cannonbolt with the voice activation that Bulma gave him earlier. As he lands, Tao is nowhere to be seen, but he appears behind Goku, punching him through various trees and knocking him out of his form. However, what Tao doesn't realize is that even without the watch, Goku is just as dangerous, if not even more so. He may have neutralized the Omnitrix as a threat, but Goku himself is a huge problem. Tao won't back down though. After all, he is one of the best martial artists on Earth. He starts to fight Goku hand to hand. Without his martial arts skills, it's difficult to predict Tao's movements. He has no skill behind him, but his sheer power allows him to tank many of the hits Tao lands, and the ones he manages to land as a result of his high speed do immense damage to Tao. But Tao isn't here to kill Goku. The secret purpose he's here for is to get a blueprint of the Omnitrix. While he was fighting Goku, he tapped him on the wrist and got what he needed, and then he turned around and ran. This mission was given to him by Dr. Gero, and the blueprint of the Omnitrix he gets is also given right to Gero for his own nefarious reasons. Knowing he can't beat Goku, Tao takes his payment and proceeds to leave with his life. Following this encounter, Goku and Bulma seek to destroy the rest of the Red Ribbon Army base, because they have the means to do so. The both of them would go in there with Goku using Accelerate to disarm all the soldiers without them even seeing him. He then turns back into himself and fires a Ki Blast to kill Star Officer Black. But one problem remains. Bulma wants to find out what species Goku is, and they can't locate the last Dragon Ball. This leads them to Roshi, which leads them to Baba, and after mowing through her fighters, Goku would encounter his grandpa, which leads to a nice moment between the two. After making her wish, Bulma would of course come to learn that Goku is a Saiyan. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Click this video to watch more of me, and I'll see you all next time.